Hello, Cancer. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Morgan Greer Tarot. Supportive Oracle cards. Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Okay, what do we got next? Like, I keep getting like piles of cards. What's up with that? Okay, this might be a complicated situation. You got darkness and the void here. Okay, there's something going on, clearly. But you're starting out with the darkness. When I feel the darkness, there's two cards that are kind of closely related, and you have them both. Darkness is like, it's usually either like just before it gets really dark or just after it was really dark. And I'm getting this as just before it gets really dark, because it's kind of like, when this situation starts off, it's kind of like it doesn't look that good, but you're still holding on to hope, and you're still thinking, maybe this can go better. Somebody else is making their moves, and they're doing what they have to do. I almost feel like we were watching somebody else stumble along in life, and you wish you could help them, but at this point, even if you're trying to, it's not effective. It's not effective, and it seems difficult to accept that, like, I can't help this person. That's why I'm feeling the energy come in. Like, I can't help them. I want to, but no matter what I do, it just doesn't seem to work. And they might even be very obstinate, kind of like, I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it. And you're like, but that's not working, and that's not good, and it's going to get worse for you. And you're trying to tell them that. Not happening. Not happening. They're just not there. Self-love, is that self-love? Self-love and growth. They have to do what they feel is right. This is going to be a hard trip. Somebody's going in like a hard part of life here. They have to make their own decisions. They're going to learn life's hard lessons. We all do. We all do. There's just no way around it. Like, we all have hard times. There's nobody's life is perfect. Nobody. It's just if somebody tells you their life is perfect, they're one of two things: flat out lying, or they're crazy. I'm sorry, but that's how it is. I just can't even play it any other way, because if somebody really thinks their life is perfect, they probably don't have both oars in the water. I'm sorry, they really don't. But they're going through this person, or it feels like a person, is going into a dark time of life, and they're purposely choosing it, and they're not thinking it's bad. They're not realizing how bad it's really going to get. And you're like, don't do this. I've been there. Don't do this. No, I got it. I'll be fine. You're overreacting. I'm not. I'm trying to tell you. Nope, you are. And I'm going to go in. And poof, there they go into the dark, murky water. And you're kind of like, I really wish you didn't do that. You have a lot going on your side when this happens. You got wisdom going on. You've been through this type of situation before, and you're like, whatever you're seeing somebody else go through, you're like, oh, I don't think that's good. You're hopeful for them, but you're like, usually this doesn't work out. You're hoping fate goes in their favor. You got a lot coming in right here. You got the Wheel of Fortune right on top. The Page of Cups, which is like, you're hopeful for them, but you're not believing it, is what I'm getting. The Eight of Cups, kind of like, well, if that's what they're going to do, I got to let them do it and leave them alone to do it. The Four of Wands is telling me you're still very bonded with this person, and you're not walking away. You're just going to try to hold the fort until they turn around and realize you were right, and then you're going to be like, well, let's try to get you out of this mess now that you decided you had to be into it. So there's a lot going on. It feels like that's all in your head, kind of like, I'm not really happy with this. This is how the wheel is turning. I got to let them go. I'm going to pull back, let them do. I'm going to hold myself together. I'm going to hold the fort down, and when they come back and they tell me, you know what, Cancer, you were kind of right. I wish I didn't do that. Then I'll try to help them find ways to get out of their mess. And I'll give them like what I did to get out of it when I went through that stuff. So you're waiting to the side, like waiting to give your advice. This is somebody you're not going to be able to help. The Two of Swords is on top, but what's below it is the Two of Wands, which is very, very curious to me. They're saying you actually have a choice. You have a choice, but it's more about your perception than actually doing something for this person. Because they're just going to be, I just feel like they're going into this energy where they feel like they literally can make it work. and it's a really rough situation. It's almost like, I feel like for a lot of you, you're looking back at your own past relationships, and you're like, I got involved with somebody, I knew that that wasn't good. Either there's something about their demeanor or something about how they spent money. For a lot of them, I feel like it's money connected, like how they just kind of, money didn't work well. It didn't match the way you felt about money. For others of you, it was somebody who was a little bit less than reliable, and you knew that going in, but you thought, it'll get better, we'll work it out. And then after you went through that situation, you're like, yeah, no, that never got better, that actually got worse. What is your choice, though? What are you supposed to do? It's all about your perception. Because again, I'm watching this other person, and they're like, they feel like they got this on lock. They're like, well, what you did is what you did. I'm different than you. I can make this actually work. I have the willpower to do so. It's a little bit arrogant. The Chariot card is there. But the Moon card is also right behind it. Like, they have no idea what they're getting into. They literally have no idea what they're getting into. You have been through it. I feel like however old you were, even if you're like a late teens person, which there isn't many late teens who watch my videos, you've seen other people go through the same thing, maybe a parent or a sibling or a friend or like an aunt or an uncle or something like that. You've seen them go through these things, and you're like, this isn't going to go well, that's not going to be good, you don't want to do that. But the new beginning, like this person is just unexpectedly like upping the ante. It's kind of like instead of betting $100, they're betting $10,000. It's just kind of like, what are you doing? Like, you're like, well, really, just take at least slow steps. Don't bet everything. Don't bet the house. Like, they're like, no, I'm going to win, and I know it. And I'm going to bet the house. That way I have no choice but to follow through. And it's kind of like, oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because they are upping the ante. They're raising the stakes. But they have the attitude, if I raise the stakes, then there's no way I can walk away from it. That way I have to succeed. I have to make it work out. It must work out. They're just locking themselves into something. And they have no idea, literally have no idea what they're getting into, and you seem to know. You seem to be like, yeah, no, I know what you're getting into, and it's when you're seeing this happen, you're just kind of like, it's making you nauseous is what I'm getting. For some of you, you're literally getting nauseous, like, what are you doing? Like, you have no idea what you've just done, and it makes you very upset. This person, whoever it is, fully believes in themselves. They start going right in there. They're off and running, putting in the work. They don't seem to be telling you everything that's going on. They're going to have a lot of stumbling moments. I just feel like they're not going to tell you what these stumbling moments are because they don't want you to know. They want this to come off like they are making it work, like they're just all that in a bag of chips and they can make it happen. It's going to take a while because I feel like there's a lot of denial here with this person. All of a sudden, there's going to be a moment where they realize what they've gotten themselves into. It's going to be a while. I don't know, that's subjective. It's going to be a long while before they really look at it and really acknowledge what they've done and what they've gotten themselves into. Your choice, which I've been trying to get to for the last 5 minutes, you have a choice. You can either let it go and disconnect from it and just trust that they have to learn their lesson. And if that's how they've decided to learn it, even though you have history and you know how that's going to play out, you got to let them learn their own lessons and just let it go. It seems like that's a hard thing to ask, but I'm getting you can do it. Just kind of like, you know what? They're making their own decisions and just not fret about it. Don't worry about it. Don't fret about it. When they start talking to you, that's when you'll have the power to maybe help. But until they do, and that's going to be a long while off, there's nothing you can do. The void here is telling me literally there's nothing you can do. Nothing. Just trust that it's going to work out the way it needs to, and just, I know it sounds mean, but detach from it. Emotionally, just let it be. Realize it's not your mistake to make, it's the other person's. You learned your lesson, you grew because of it. They're gonna learn their lesson too, and it feels like it's gonna be really harsh. Your other choice is to try to hold on and keep fighting with them, to try to make them see it your way and try to get them out of this situation. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. They're not gonna do that. They are not gonna do that. They're not gonna see it your way. It's going to take you a long time. It's going to be very stressful for you. It just seems like you could have a lot of sleepless nights that are getting you nowhere. Like, your sleepless nights are not making the situation better. It's just making you also unhappy. I know Paul McKenna has some exercises to stop thinking of things. I don't know. It's in one of his books. I don't know which one. I wonder if it's the success one or if it's the I Can Mend Your Broken Heart one. I don't know. It's one of those books. That might be an idea, because Your sleepless nights does not improve anything. It doesn't help you, it doesn't help them, it doesn't help anything. And it's hard, but if in the beginning, like, this is the part where I feel like this is coming. Like, if you in the beginning detach and just like, okay, they're going to make their mistakes, I'm going to stop trying to tell them what to do because it literally is not happening. They do not want to hear from me. They do not want my advice. They are not going to take my advice. And possibly they're going to see my advice as the thing not to do. They're going to take that like, well, that's what you did. Well, that was obviously wrong. I'm not going to do that. They might do that, one of those things on you. So they're saying pull back, disconnect, and wait for that person to approach you and ask for help. It's really going to be that type of situation. I feel like that's a lot to ask. But again, your sleepless nights won't help. It won't help. Sooner or later, things will be okay. There will be a healing moment and things will come back around. I feel if you just stop talking about the situation with them, at least, and when they start talking to you, always put the ball back in their court. When they're like, well, this is going on and that is going on. Oh, I understand. What are you going to do about that? Like, how are you going to handle that? And if they ask you what they think you should do, they should do, I would answer. That seems fine. But if they try to like just, if they just want to like vent about it, because they might just want to vent about it. They might not want you to tell them what to do about it. So be careful of that. Just listen and let them wait for them to ask you for help, because they feel like they're going to talk about it and they're just expecting you to interject, and it's almost like a little bit of a weird feeling with that. Unless they ask you for your advice, I wouldn't give it. Ask them what's going on, let them tell you what's going on, but just leave it at that. Try not to give advice until asked, because it will come back. At some point there will be a healing moment and they will have to get out of this. For some of you though, this might be a few years down the road before that actually happens. Are we good? Good. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.